Hey, we're Saints. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to our Crucifixional live stream. Father Chris with you. Glad to have you, beautiful people, with us. You ever feel like your life is inundated with noise? That somebody's always calling out, asking for more, chimes going off, notifications going off, volume all over the place. I mean, if we think about it, perhaps the very first thing we do when we wake up in the morning is to grab the cell phone. What's a cell phone got? Notifications, whether it's your social media apps, your email, your text messages, maybe there's a missed phone call. Get in your car to drive to work. Starts beeping. Put on your seatbelt. It starts beeping. You're going to bang into something on this side. It starts beeping. You're going to bang into something on that side. Maybe you've got phone calls coming in all day long where somebody wants more and more of your time. Meeting, after appointment, after commitment, after obligation. Then, of course, there are children. Those who constantly tug on our coattails. Hey, mom. Hey, dad. I need. All over the place there is noise. And that's not to mention the internal dissonance we may feel, the noise inside our hearts and minds. Noise is a plague. It's probably one of the biggest problems of our century. We are bombarded with too much information, too much data, too many notifications, way too much stimulation, and the brain can't handle it. We can't handle it. And if you're like me, you're ready to pull your hair out because it's chaos. It's all over the place. So what do? How do we as warrior saints find a way to overcome the noise? I think the answer to that is something I'm going to call the ruthless elimination of noise. The ruthless elimination of noise. And you would say, Father, what are you talking about? Ruthless. I start with that word ruthless because it has to be exactly that, ruthless. If you're soft on your noise, if you're soft on eliminating it, it will consume you. It will overwhelm you, like being tossed in a ship in the midst of a storm. You must be ruthless in eliminating the non-essential things in your life. I want to read to you from I want to read you from Psalm. Let me say it like that. Psalm 107. It's a beautiful, beautiful story, beautiful text. And in this, we hear that there are people who go to ships, like sailors. They get on the boats and they get into the waters. And then God brings up the storm to test them, right? And they are freaking out because they're in the midst of a storm. If you know anything about sailing, you could drown. Listen to this text. This is Psalm 107, verses 28, 9, and 30. I'm going to read it to you. Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them from their distress. He made the storm be still, and the waves of the sea were hushed. Then they were glad because they had quiet, and he brought them to their desired haven. Then they were glad because they had quiet. A literal understanding of Psalm 107 would say that the boat was quiet on the sea. Absolutely. But the proper understanding, and really to gather what the psalmist is telling us, is that they had quiet. Because God had helped them eliminate, perhaps ruthlessly, the noise of the chaos of the storm. And you and I, in our lives, are like we started with, inundated with noise all over the place. And really, as we seek to find peace in our hearts and in our minds, and even to find a proper, right relationship with God, he can only be found in the stillness of a small, quiet voice. How do we therefore ruthlessly eliminate the noise? What tools do we have to implement in our lives so we can say, look, I'm going to gain it back. I'm going to take control back of my life, right? And I'm going to get some of this noise and ruthlessly eliminate it so I can focus and hear God like Elijah in that still small voice. How do we do that? How do we come to that place of peace, that place of quiet, that place of sanity? It's very simple, but it is not very easy. First, you got to visit warriorsaints.org. This is our website. And at this website, at thewarriorsaints.org, we have a program that I want you to consider subscribing to. We call it The Way of the Warrior Saint. It's a library filled with teachings, one of which is called The Ruthless Elimination of Noise. And in this video, we explore some practical tools using God's guidance, God's input on how we are to eliminate the noise from our lives, and then some very practical tools to help us implement it right away. I promise you this. If you don't subscribe to this and you don't watch this episode, great. You're going to face the noise every single day. It's not going to go away. But if you do, if you join us, you've got a shot. as you watch this video at warriorsaints.org, you've got a shot to find that peace, to find that quiet that your heart and your mind and your soul so desperately needs. I can promise you this too, that Warrior Saints, we implement those tools in our own lives. And you know what? They actually work. We found a lot more quiet, a lot more peace in our own lives, and we want to share that with you. It's pretty simple, guys. Visit warriorsaints.org, scroll about halfway down, you're going to see the Way of the Warrior Saint. Subscribe. It's pretty easy. Click the button Buy Now, and you're off and running. Love you, beautiful people. We're going to be back tomorrow to talk about one particular way, one specific way that we can eliminate some of the noise from our lives. Love you. Till tomorrow, as always, keep walking on the way of the Warrior Saint.